In the following video, a woman was simply recording what should have been a peaceful moment. A waterfall deep in Brazil, surrounded by nature. Nothing unusual, just a calm scene meant to capture the beauty of the place. But her camera caught something else. Watch closely.
Queda d'água, muita água, muita força. Uhul! E caraca, uma coisa ali. Caraca, apareceu um cara ali no meio da água. Mozinho, mozinho, você viu o cara no meio da água? Caraca!
For just a brief moment, a dark, shadowy figure appears to rise from within the waterfall itself, before suddenly vanishing back into the rushing falls as if it was never there. Viewers have slowed the footage frame by frame, and the shape is hard to ignore. To this day, no clear explanation has been able to fully account for what was captured. Some believe this could be a jinn, entities said to inhabit wild, untouched places like forests, rivers, and waterfalls, especially in parts of the world where such stories have existed for centuries. Others suggest it may be a duende, a folkloric being often linked to natural environments in South America. There are also those who think it could be something even stranger, a being briefly slipping through from another dimension, visible only for seconds before disappearing. Skeptics argue shadows, water flow, or camera artifacts. But what makes this clip unsettling is how distinct the figure appears and how deliberately it seems to move. So, what do you think this really was? A ghost tied to the land? A jinn drawn to the water? A duende watching from the falls? Or something else entirely? Now, this next video was recorded by a man who's slowly running out of explanations. For weeks, his young son has been insisting that there's someone in the house with them. At first, it was easy to dismiss. A child's imagination, shadows on the wall, toys left in the wrong place. The father brushed it off, telling his son that whatever he thought he was seeing was all in his head. But the claims didn't stop. The boy started talking to empty corners of the room. He'd pause mid-play, stare, and wave as if someone had just passed by. Sometimes he'd laugh, other times he'd go completely quiet, listening to something only he could hear. One night, just as they were about to go to sleep, the boy became visibly unsettled. Have a look.
कहाँ बैठा है कौन बैठा है ये यही मैं बाहर चला गया कौन है कौन ये कैसा दिखता है इसको बुलाओ इधर बुलाओ इसको बुलाओ बुलाओ इसको कहाँ क्या है यहाँ पे कुछ भी तो नहीं है क्यों अर्थ कर रहा है मैंने अकेले सोना होता है मत बुलाओ इसको इससे बात करें इसको बुलाओ उसको मुझे बात करनी है तुमसे है लड़की है लड़का है ये जिससे बात कर रहे हो ये लड़की है कि लड़का है
Watching the footage back, the father still wasn't sure what to make of it. He couldn't see anything obvious, so he shared the video online, hoping that maybe someone else would notice what he couldn't. Because at this point, the situation was starting to bother him, not just because of what his son claimed to see, but because of how consistent those claims had become. Many people say you should never tell a child they're lying when they insist they see something, especially when their fear doesn't fade and their reactions don't change. Some believe children are more sensitive to things adults no longer notice. So what do you see in the video? And more importantly, how should he handle it the next time his son says he's still here? In November 2019, a young man decided to explore an abandoned 22-story building and livestream the experience. At first, everything felt routine. Dark hallways, peeling paint, the usual eerie silence that comes with places long forgotten. But things changed when he reached the 10th floor. As he angled his camera down the stairwell, for just a moment, it looked like someone dressed in black was moving up the stairs toward him. Not walking, but climbing at an unnaturally fast pace. Have a look. At first glance, you might think it's just another person, but based on the distance covered in about 7 seconds, that's an extreme speed. Even trained athletes would struggle to move that fast in a confined stairwell. And then there's the sound. As the figure approaches, a low, aggressive growling can be heard in the audio. Later, people claim that his phone was found higher up the stairwell, still recording, even though the man himself was nowhere nearby. Eventually, he was confirmed to be physically safe, but according to those who spoke with him afterward, he was too shaken to give a clear explanation of what happened inside that building. So, what do you think really happened? A terrifying misunderstanding or something far worse? Let me know your thoughts on this one. In this next video, Kyle, someone who's already dealt with one strange incident after another, is still trying to figure out what, if anything, connects all of it. Just when things seemed to calm down and the activity finally stopped, a new puzzle surfaced. Listen closely.
Listen to this and tell me if you hear a kid running around inside my attic. You hear that? Things have been quiet for like weeks now, and then all of a sudden it's just a ruckus in the attic, like constant. Listen. Isn't that wild? It sounds like a kid is running around up there. And I promise I do not have a child in my attic. It's just crazy. Yeah, things have been really quiet lately. I thought maybe it had all stopped. That's why I haven't been posting. But I guess we're back with a vengeance in 2026.
What makes this unsettling is how much it sounds like children running back and forth inside his attic. What makes it worse is the timing. Kyle says he'd finally had several quiet days. No disturbances, no strange sounds, nothing to suggest whatever had been bothering him was still around. He started to believe the activity had passed, that maybe it really was over. And then this happens. Some believe that when things go quiet, it isn't because whatever's there is gone, but because it's waiting. Others speculate that attic spaces often act as focal points, places where sounds manifest more clearly, or where something chooses to stay out of sight. Kyle is hoping this was a one-off incident, but after everything he's already experienced, it's not something he's willing to bet on. Now, in this next clip, Nate is home alone when he notices something peeking out from his basement. At first, it's subtle, easy to dismiss as shadows or his eyes playing tricks on him. But the feeling sticks with him long enough that he decides to grab his camera and record. This is what he captured.
Guys, check it out. Something was peeking. Right out. From the basement. I wanted to see if we can catch it. The end of it. But it was like right by the back. What the fuck? This has been the third morning in a row. Like clockwork. I might have to look back, but it might be around the same times as well. I don't understand. There's nothing. And then I was hearing steps coming down those stairs, but there's nothing. Guys. I don't know, guys. Maybe we can try. What was that?
Forget whatever was peeking out for a moment. What immediately unsettles viewers is the whispering. Some people claim they can make out words, while others say it's just incoherent murmuring. What makes this harder to ignore is that Nate says the peeking hadn't been a one-time thing. He claims it's been happening almost every morning for several days, always from the same spot. But one night, Nate is home watching a game when he notices the peeking again. This time, it didn't just peek. Watch closely.
Alright, guys. Please tell me you saw. Whatever keeps peeking out from there. Did it? I'm literally just sitting here watching the game. Wife will be home in about a half hour, so I was just waiting with the pup. And I saw. Nothing. Nothing, like always. Never anything. Nothing down there. Just bags of returnables and hoodies. What the okay. At least it's not a knife, I guess. Jesus Christ.
Now objects are being thrown. The energy feels different, more aggressive, more urgent. But once again, what disturbs people the most is the whispering. Viewers who compared both clips say it sounds like the same voice from the first video. There's a theory circulating online that whatever is in the house may be the spirit of a woman, something trapped, unable to move on, attempting to communicate the only way it knows how. Some believe the whispers aren't meant to frighten, but to get attention. Others strongly disagree, arguing that throwing objects and hiding in shadows isn't a cry for help. It's a warning. But until Nate provides more updates, there's no way to know which interpretation is right. So for now, this case remains unsolved. In the following video, a man believes he's dealing with a mimic, and according to him, whatever it is seems to be getting bolder every time it appears. He says the hardest part isn't just hearing the voices, it's when it chooses to act. Around 3 a.m., watch what happened. This time, the voice sounds exactly like his mother. After this clip surfaced, one question kept coming up again and again, and you may have noticed the pattern too. Why do mimics almost always ask to be let in? Folklore across multiple cultures shares the same idea. Mimics, whether they're thought to be spirits, entities, or something else entirely, aren't believed to have free access. Instead, they rely on invitation. Asking to be let in isn't about manners, it's about permission. Once acknowledged, responded to, or welcomed, they're believed to gain stronger influence, sometimes attaching themselves to a place, a person, or both. That's why the voices often sound familiar, trusted, and safe. Because the goal isn't fear, it's consent. As for how people claim to deal with mimics, opinions are split. Some believe the worst thing you can do is respond at all. No talking back, no opening doors, no acknowledging the voice. Others suggest grounding the space by keeping lights on, removing reflective surfaces near doors, or placing physical barriers like salt lines or iron objects, believed in folklore to disrupt whatever is trying to cross over. But many say confrontation is the solution. So the question is, would you open the door or stay silent and hope it goes away? Either way, this is one encounter most people hope they never experience. Now in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo investigation at the infamous Squirrel Cage Jail, officially known as the Pottawatomie County Jail in Iowa. This time, his final stop is one of the most unsettling locations in the entire building, Jake Bird's cell. Jake Bird was a convicted serial killer, often referred to as the Bluebeard of Tacoma, and is surrounded by one of the darkest reputations tied to this jail. What makes his story even more disturbing is the so-called Jake Bird curse, a legend claiming that several officials connected to his trial and execution later suffered sudden deaths or misfortune. When Ian steps into Jake Bird's cell, the first thing that immediately stands out is Jake's axe, displayed nearby. According to local history and long-standing accounts, an axe like this was linked to Jake Bird's crimes and is now kept as a reminder of the brutality tied to his name. To see if Jake Bird's presence still lingers, Ian decides to conduct a spirit box session inside the cell. Watch closely.
Are you here with me? Said summon. I heard summon. Who am I speaking with? Jake Bird. Jake Bird. It just said Jake Bird. That was so clear.
Not long after the session, Ian starts feeling unwell. But before he could leave, something else happened. Watch.
I'm starting to feel really lightheaded. Out of it. And I'm feeling really nauseous too. Oh, holy f***. I swear to God, I just see the shadow. It went into the bunk bed where the axe is. Oh God, I really don't want to go back in there. I'm sorry if I offended you, Jake Bird. I didn't mean to. I'm just gonna retrieve my spirit box. Don't mind me. Oh God. I don't want to be in that cell anymore.
At that moment, Ian didn't hesitate. He ends the session and leaves the area entirely. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip is about a family we've talked about on this channel before, and if you remember their story, then you already know things got pretty unsettling the first time around. Here's a quick rundown. It all began on random nights when their daughter would suddenly wake up crying, and while they were trying to calm her down, they'd hear someone knocking on their front door. It went on for several nights until the father finally decided to check. And the moment he opened that door, there was a figure standing right outside. After that encounter, the knocking stopped, but the house wasn't the same. Strange movements, electronics acting up, little things happening that didn't feel like coincidences. They prayed, they waited, and after a few months, the house finally settled. No knocking, no shadows, no disturbances. For a while, it seemed like whatever had shown up that night had moved on. But now, months later, the pattern seems to be starting all over again. Watch this.
Vente. Le están tocando.
Sí. La niña empezó a llorar.
Ya no haga mucho ruido para ver quién es. No prendas. Como rápido. Está bien inquieta, ¿verdad? Ya son casi las 3 de la mañana. ¿Dónde están las llaves? Hoy. No se ve. Voy a ver, bro. Ahí quédate, espérame. No hay nadie. No hay nadie. No, uy, otra vez. Así menos. ¿Quién será? No es nadie, Ceci. Yo creo que ya nos subimos a dormir. Ya. Vámonos. Vámonos porque igual le voy a enseñar la hora. Siempre pasa lo mismo. Mira. Son casi las 3 de la mañana. 25. Siempre hace lo mismo, ¿verdad? Ya vamos a... Voy a cerrar otra vez.
This time, they knew better than to open the door. They didn't want to repeat the same mistake, but one night, while his wife was trying to put their baby girl to sleep, the house security camera picked up something they never expected to see. Watch this.
Sí, mira, quiero que observes bien este video y me digas qué te parece. Puede ser cualquier cosa, pudo ser una persona, pero realmente con seguridad no te sé qué decir. Observa los movimientos de mi hija de 4 meses, como ya está casi dormida y ahorita en un ratito como que se altera. El video no tiene audio, así que por eso se lo estoy relatando. Vean ahí cómo se alteró mi hija y ve directamente hacia el portón. Miren, ahí está observando, ahí se asomó algo. Vean eso. Vean lo extraño que el color de piel que tiene eso, vean. Y mi hija ahí está alterada y si se dan cuenta, no deja de mirar hacia el portón. Vean, mi hija está mirándolo. Ahí se volteó y eso se desvaneció. Bastante extraño.
If you take a good look at the footage, the little girl is completely calm at first, just resting, until something shifts. Out of nowhere, she gets upset and she starts crying, like she's reacting to something we can't see. And if you look at the door, a faint figure seems to be peeking inside. The father said he couldn't place the shape at all, And what made it worse is that he never saw anything walk away. 1 second the figure was there, and the next, it wasn't. No footsteps, no movement, no shadows trailing off. Just there, then gone. And with everything they've experienced before, people began to wonder if this was the same presence that stood outside their door months ago, or if something completely new had entered the picture. Then, around 2 a.m., their daughter started crying again. But this time, it wasn't the knocking, it was something far worse. Proof that whatever they'd been dealing with wasn't outside anymore. It was inside the house. Have a look.
No digas mamadas. No. ¿Qué dijo? ¿Eh? ¿Qué dijo? No mames, güey. Se me va a apagar. Está hablando. No, güey. No, la verga. No mames, no chingues. Se puso feo. Raza. Se puso feo, les dije. No mames, güey.
It didn't take long before the knocking returned too, and when it came back, it wasn't random or occasional anymore. It happened every single night, like something determined, something trying to wear them down. Imagine living with that, knowing it's coming, knowing you can't stop it, and counting down the seconds until it starts again. Eventually, even though he knew exactly what happened the last time, he started opening doors, but only the doors inside. And what happened next felt like going from bad to something much worse, almost like stepping out of the frying pan and straight into the fire. Watch.
No sé si se escuche. Oigan, como si estuvieran en la parte de enfrente. No mames. Son las 2 de la mañana. Uy, cabrón. Voy a buscar las llaves. No mames, está acá enfrente, ¿eh? Uy. Okay, como... No mames. Ah, cabrón. No mames, cabrón.
The activities in the house escalated after that night, but this time the knocking didn't stop. And you know what they say. When the knocking refuses to end, it usually means whatever is outside isn't trying to leave, it's trying to come in. And in situations like this, people believe persistent knocking is a sign that the presence has grown stronger, more intentional, almost desperate for access. It got so bad that it began waking the entire family every single night. At this point, they started to believe that not opening the main door wasn't protecting them from anything, because strange things were still happening inside the house, even on nights they kept the door shut. But at least if they open it, the knocking would stop for a few hours, just enough peace to reach the morning. So, reluctantly, they fell into a routine. Every time the knocking returned, the father would open the door just to make it stop, until one night he walked toward the entrance expecting the same pattern, but instead saw something deeply unsettling. Watch this.
Johnny, están tocando.
¿Ah?
Están tocando.
¿Quién es?
Nadie, duérmete, mamá.
¿Están tocando?
Sí.
Ah, sí, no manches.
Escucha.
Otra vez, güey, a ver. Dame, a ver, aguanta. Espérame aquí, aguántame.
Sí.
Otra vez. Son las 3 de la mañana, gente. Son casi las 3 de la mañana. ¿Qué quieres? ¿Qué es lo que quieres? Deja de molestar. Quiero que te largues. ¿Qué es eso? Oh, no manches. Oh, no manches. Ceci.
This wasn't a neighbor, this wasn't a prank. What he saw looked dark and full of intent, the kind of thing that doesn't accidentally show up at your door. And when you connect this moment to everything else, the figure peeking inside the house, the child crying at unseen things, the sudden electronic malfunctions, the rocking chair moving on its own, the doll moving, it all begins to feel like one presence that finally revealed its true form. Now the family is actively seeking help from anyone who can make sense of all this. But while they search for answers, the knocking hasn't stopped. They still open the door sometimes, but now with extreme caution, because they never know what might be standing there.
Mira. Y el chiquito no.
Mira, no mames.
¡Vámonos de esta casa!
Ya, yo voy grabando.
Tranquila. ¿Quién anda ahí?
To make matters worse, the electricity in the house hasn't been the same since the night they saw that strange figure. Lights flicker, appliances glitch, and even their older kid is getting tired of living in a place that feels more haunted with every passing night. In the next clip they posted, things took a turn none of them were prepared for. What used to happen strictly at night, the knocking, the footsteps, the strange movements, suddenly began happening in broad daylight. Objects would shift from one spot to another, heavy thudding footsteps, as if someone unseen was walking up the stairs, and random items in the house kept going missing only to reappear in odd places. Then one afternoon, the father captured something on camera that left both viewers and investigators genuinely alarmed. Watch this.
¿Estás escuchando?
Sí.
Vente. Son las 2 de la tarde, se está manifestando algo. Tengo que decir que no hay nadie. Estoy completamente solo. No manches. Se acaba de abrir la puerta del cuarto. Este cuarto, pues nadie lo habita. Estoy solamente con mi hijo de 8 años. Vente, Neto, no te quedes. Se vio claramente cómo se abrió la puerta sola y no hay ni viento. De hecho, está cerrada la ventana, todo está cerrado. No, Neto. Vámonos.
Even with every window shut and all doors locked, one door slowly opened on its own, like someone on the inside had gently pushed it. Many believe this was a sign the presence inside the home has grown comfortable, too comfortable, almost as if it no longer cares to hide its movements. Others think letting it in that very first night might have given it access it never should have had, and now it's roaming the entire house freely, crossing boundaries it once respected. And things have only gotten worse night after night. The family is so desperate that viewers have sent their clips to paranormal experts, hoping someone can offer answers or at least a solution to stop the constant fear they're living in. But while they wait for help, every day and every night brings a new disturbance. One night, it sounded like someone was in the kitchen, loud enough that the husband thought an intruder might have broken in. But when he went to check, this is what he found.
Oye, voy a ir a bajar,
Sí, va a ver, va a checar qué es.
Voy a ver, ahí quédate con la niña.
Sí.
Hasta se despertó, ¿va?
Sí.
No hay nadie. Por lo regular siempre se escucha como si hubiera alguien ahí en la cocina. Se escuchaba que estaban jugando con los trastes, como si estuvieran botando cosas, así bastante fuerte. Lo primero que pensé es que se habían metido a la casa. Mierda. ¿Qué hacen esos sartenes botados? Mira. Empieza a sentir un escalofrío en esta parte bastante fuerte. Voy a levantar esto. Miren cómo estaba colgado esto. Ay. ¿Qué es lo que quieres? Lárgate de aquí. ¿Por qué nos molestas? Oh, madre de Dios. ¿Qué es eso que se escucha? Lárgate de aquí. No mames, güey. ¡Ey! La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Sea lo que sea, no perteneces aquí. Lárgate. Necesitamos ayuda, por favor. Esto se está saliendo de control, amigos. ¿Qué es eso?
Pans scattered all across the floor, and before he could even finish placing them back, something else happened. Sudden, sharp, and terrifying. Almost like the presence wanted to make sure he knew he wasn't alone in that kitchen. At this point, whatever is haunting this home is no longer subtle, no longer shy, no longer hiding in the shadows. It's active, bold, and possibly growing stronger. And before this turns into something violent, the family is pleading for help, hoping someone can intervene before things get even worse. Now, in this next clip, the popular ghost hunter Ian went deep into the Minnesota woods, and on this particular night, he was making his way toward an isolated cemetery rumored to be one of the most haunted places in the entire region. He was completely alone out there, and even he admitted that he was starting to freak out.
Okay. I'm coming towards you, whoever you are. I hear somebody walking up and down this trail. Could you walk towards me? Oh my God! Holy shit! Oh my God! I'm sorry. You almost gave me a heart attack. I know I asked you to do that, but damn! Holy moly, I didn't think you were gonna actually do it.
Vicksburg Cemetery sat hidden in the wilderness, untouched, overgrown, and swallowed by trees. Local legend claimed that one gravestone in particular would glow at night, and that every spring it sprouted fresh flowers that dripped what looked like blood. It was the kind of place that felt unsettling even in daylight. And yet, because it was Ian, he chose to spend the entire night there anyway. The place had the kind of heavy stillness you'd expect from a cemetery buried deep in the woods, but as he walked around with his flashlight sweeping through the darkness, he saw something that stopped him. One entire grave had been left in total shambles. Stone cracked apart, soil disturbed, like something had forced its way out or clawed its way in. And in typical Ian fashion, instead of backing away, he tried communicating with whatever spirit might still be lingering there.
Gosh. This whole grave is in shambles. I'm sorry that your tombstone has been destroyed. What happened? Is it vandalized? Whoa. Okay, I just heard you.
At this moment, a woman's whisper intelligently responds to my question.
In my left hand, I have a green light. It won't harm you in any way. All it will simply do is detect your presence. If you're still here, could you tell me your name? Because unfortunately, there's really no way for me to tell. I really don't want to dig around your grave shambles, because I don't want to damage it any further. You don't have to be shy, ma'am. As I said, I'm just here to visit. I'm here with nothing but respect. I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes right now, but that's okay. It's worth it. If I could just hear your voice one more time. Whoa. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I heard that. I heard you once again. Whoa, you just drained my battery too. Dang, dude. All right. I'm gonna review this when I get home, and I'll know your message.
Later, after reviewing his footage, he realized that the voice captured on camera sounded like it was saying the word foreign. That one detail bothered him enough to dig deeper, and when he researched the grave, he found out it belonged to a woman named Vesta Black Davis, buried alone with no family members anywhere near her. A sad and lonely revelation. But it raised an even darker question. If no one visited her and no one cared for the site, then why was her grave the only one shattered? For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. In the following clip, an explorer visits Presidio de San Saba in Menard, Texas, a location many believe is haunted not just by legend but by history soaked in violence. Built in the mid-17th century, this Presidio became the site of brutal conflict involving Spanish settlers and Comanche and Wichita tribes. Historical accounts describe violent attacks, torture, and countless lives lost on this very ground. People who never had the chance to leave peacefully. While exploring the ruins late at night, the explorer records with his phone in his right hand, holding a flashlight firmly in his left. As he scans the corner of the structure, something completely unexpected happens. A dark shadow suddenly comes into view. Watch closely.
Here's the room I'm in. There's the K2. There's the REM pod. There's the wall all the way to the corner.
What makes this moment so unsettling is where he's standing. He's backed into a corner with no visible objects nearby that could cast a moving shadow like that. Even more convincing, you can clearly see his hand on camera. The phone is steady in one, the flashlight fixed in the other, and yet the shadow moves in the opposite direction. Viewers also notice something else when pausing the footage frame by frame. For a split second, the shadow appears to have horn-like protrusions, giving it a shape that looks disturbing. That detail alone sparked intense debate online. Considering the violent past of Presidio de San Saba, a place where suffering, fear, and death once filled the air, many believe this wasn't just a trick of the light. Others argue there must be a rational explanation we're missing. So what do you think? Is this simply a shadow playing tricks on the eye? Or did this explorer momentarily capture something that never truly left these grounds? You decide. In this next clip, a man is simply spending time with his child, recording a casual video just to save the moment, something parents do every day without thinking twice. But while he's focused on his daughter, laughing and playing, something else is happening right in front of him, and he doesn't notice it at all. Thankfully, the camera does. Watch closely and pay attention to the blinds.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. That one hurt. Okay, you want me to make buckets now?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna catch it.
Oh, you want to catch it and then put it?
Okay.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. Yay! Yeah! You want the small one?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, oh.
This is too small.
Sorry. It's too small.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it. No, almost. I mean, you hit SpongeBob though. Yay! Last one. 3, 1.
No, you should say 3.
Huh? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
You should say 3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go. In the basket. In the basket.
Go again.
Okay.
The window is completely shut. There's no visible breeze, and you don't see any fingers or hands reaching through the blinds like someone trying to peek inside. Confused and unsettled, the father decides to check the security camera installed in the room, just to rule out any coincidence. But when he watches the footage back, he sees the exact same thing happen again from a different angle. Viewers began speculating. Some suggested airflow from a vent, others said it could have been pressure from outside the window, or even someone poking the blinds from outside. Many weren't convinced it was paranormal until he shared the next clip. Watch this.
Right here is the room where it actually happened. Hey. So I was just sitting here with my daughter. Well, she was actually on a bed playing with her toys that she always plays with. All of a sudden, I didn't understand what was going on, because the only way you can move the blinds is if you're inside the room. There's no possible way. There's no possible way that someone can move the blinds from the outside of the room. There's no possible way somebody can just come up here and move the blinds from the inside.
This video made many people completely abandon logical explanations. The blinds are clearly touched from a height that would require someone to be at least 9 feet tall. There's no balcony, no platform, and no structure outside that could allow a person to reach that high. Wanting to be cautious, the man had his grandmother come over to bless the room. Even after that, though, he refused to let his daughter sleep there alone. During the day, though, she still goes in there to play, because locking the door would only raise more questions. And the answers are something a child her age wouldn't understand.
Okay, so this is the security camera that caught it. This is the whole area that it happened. I don't trust this area at all anymore, so my grandma had it blessed. Also, I don't feel safe in this place anymore at all. It's okay.
Everything seems calm on the surface, but the tension never really leaves. The father says he's constantly on edge, hoping the blessing worked and that whatever caused those movements is gone for good. But then, one evening, his daughter tells him she's seen someone in the room. Concerned, he goes in with her and stays close, just to reassure her. Then, this happens. After this encounter, his confidence completely collapsed. One blessing suddenly didn't feel like enough anymore. He began asking the same questions many parents in similar situations ask. Is this something that needs repeated blessings? Do these things come back? And is there a way to permanently protect a space once something has made itself known? Right now, he's doing everything he can to keep his daughter safe, but he's also searching for answers. If you've experienced something similar, or if you know of a solution that actually worked, this is the moment to share it. Because whatever is happening in that room clearly isn't finished yet. Now, in this next video, we're taken back into the home of a woman who says she's dealt with paranormal activity for years, to the point where it has seriously impacted her life. In the past, she shared that she suffered a concussion, experienced unexplained electrical shocks, and endured months of constant disturbances inside her house. Then, just as suddenly as it all began, everything stopped. For months, her home was completely calm. No noises, no movement, no strange sensations. And she didn't cleanse, bless, or remove anything during that time. The activity simply went quiet on its own. But recently, whatever was there seems to have returned. One afternoon, while she was in the kitchen fixing herself lunch, something happened. Watch closely. According to her, this isn't an isolated incident. She says objects have moved on their own before, including a knife that shifted unexpectedly and at night. Also, while trying to sleep, she has heard low growling sounds coming from inside the house. Viewers who follow her story closely began connecting dots almost immediately. Some believe the sudden pause and return of activity could point to something that goes dormant, then reactivates. Others suggest it may be tied to a specific object in her home, especially one item she's mentioned before, a doll she bought at a thrift store. Still, without definitive proof or new updates, everything remains speculation. So, until she shares more evidence or finds a clear explanation, this unsettling case remains completely unsolved. The following video was captured somewhere in Mexico, where a man named Dav noticed something deeply unsettling at his best friend's house, a property that is still under construction. For weeks, people living nearby had been complaining about strange things happening around the building. Some mentioned hearing loud noises late at night when no one was supposed to be there. A few neighbors even said they felt watched whenever they passed by the place after dark. One morning, Dav and his friend decided to go check the house for themselves, hoping to put the rumors to rest. Dav stayed outside, keeping watch near the entrance, while his girlfriend Gabriella insisted on going inside. She was excited to document the interior and show their friend how the construction was coming along. Watch closely.
Desde que llegué a la casa le dije a Gabriela que había alguien ahí. Chucho se fue a asomar, no. Y se ve bien puto raro, miren. Tiene la pinche jeta. Tiene los ojos brillosos. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Sí estás grabando? ¿Estás grabando? ¿Y no grabaste nada? Ahorita te enseño el video para que veas. Sobres. Cuidado. A ver, ahorita vemos el video de Gaby. Voy a grabar por si.
The figure Dav saw didn't look like a person who wandered in by mistake. It appeared oddly shaped, standing unnaturally still, and what terrified viewers the most were its glowing eyes. Many people familiar with paranormal folklore pointed out something chilling. Houses under construction are often believed to attract spirits because they're considered unfinished spaces, places without protection, history, or grounding yet. Some say these locations act like open doors, especially when the land itself has an unknown past. Others believe spirits are drawn to new structures because they disrupt old energies buried beneath the ground. So was this just an optical illusion inside an unfinished building? Or did Dav see something that had already been there long before the house was ever built? For now, no one has a clear answer, and this encounter remains deeply unsettling and unexplained. Now, in this next clip, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his solo exploration through Bonanzaville, an open-air museum made up of fully preserved historic buildings from different eras of North Dakota. While moving through one of the rooms, Ian suddenly hears what sounds like a woman's voice clearly asking, "Who are you?" Startled, he steps inside to see if anyone else is there, or if whatever spoke was still nearby. Watch closely.
Where are you in this room? That. Are you on this bed? If you're on this bed, could you move the blankets? I overheard that brothel work used to take place here. Are you, no disrespect, but lady of the night? I heard that again. Are you touching this bed? I keep hearing you.
That was a heck of a string of activity. Jeez, that woman's voice was so clear on here. I still can't believe that. There's no doubt in my mind I was not alone in that room, and I'm not sure who that was. Man, I just feel like a cold breeze just passed me. Did somebody just go in front of me here? That's just like a wicked chill I got there.
Just seconds after Ian exits the room, something strange happens. A mist-like form begins to materialize from seemingly nothing, drifting through the space where the voice was heard moments earlier. When Ian reviews the footage, he can't shake the feeling that what he captured might have been the same presence, possibly the spirit of a woman rising from the bed and passing by him as a cold, unseen presence. Still processing what he's just experienced, Ian moves on to his next location inside Bonanzaville, the Houston Mansion. Built in 1891 on a bonanza farm, the mansion once belonged to David Houston, an inventor, farmer, and poet, and his wife Annie, a respected musician known across the state as the North Dakota songstress. Their life here was filled with creativity and acclaim, but it ended in tragedy. Employees and visitors alike are convinced that David and Annie never truly left. Reports of shadowy figures pacing the hallways, unexplained footsteps, and disembodied voices are common, especially on the second floor. Some claim David's spirit is particularly protective of the home, often frightening off visitors he doesn't approve of. His voice has even been heard muttering the words, "Get out." While inside the mansion, Ian decides to conduct a small test, a quiet attempt to see if either spirit is still present and willing to respond. Watch what happens next.
A pretty interesting tidbit about Annie and David is that they were actually spiritualists when they were alive, and it is said that Annie conducted seances on this very table. I've got a couple of dowsing rods here, and I'm gonna see if I can communicate. Annie, are you here? Whoa. Did you see that? Dang. Annie, if that was you, could you separate them? Whoa. Right away. Thank you. I take it you're familiar with these? Yes. Wow. Annie, is it true that you were a spiritualist? Uncross the rods if that's true. Yes. Wow. I heard you were a musician as well. Is that true? Yes, I didn't even have to ask to cross them. Wow, Annie, I'm getting like serious goosebumps right now. Annie, is it true? Is this table your seance table? If it is, could you uncross the rods? Wow. Holy moly. Just to confirm, Annie, could you point these rods towards your seance table? There you have it. I'm gonna move these rods up forward again. Annie, is it okay that I'm here? Are you okay with me visiting? If so, cross the rods. You're not crossing them. Annie, do you want me to leave?
Goodbye now.
Whoa! Dude, I just freaking heard a whisper.
Could that have been Annie's voice finally answering and asking Ian to leave? Or was it something else entirely? Something that doesn't want anyone wandering the halls of the Houston mansion after dark? Whatever the case, Ian didn't feel welcome anymore. And judging by what he captured that night, maybe he never was. For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. In the following video, a family has been stuck in the same frightening routine for over a month. Every night their baby wakes up crying, but it's not just her tears that jolt them out of sleep. There's knocking, someone banging at their door, and for weeks they try to ignore it, focusing only on calming their baby while whispering prayers over and over, hoping it would eventually stop. But on this particular night, they finally decided to check, a decision many people in the comments now call a mistake. Watch.
Sí, están tocando, Ceci.
¿Tienes el machete?
No, lo dejé allá afuera. Ah, sí, están tocando de nuevo. Su madre, me da un miedo. Padre nuestro que está en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino, hágase tu voluntad. Se siente bien horrible. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Oh, la sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Oh.
On other nights, the knocking would go on for a while before fading away, but this time felt different. The family couldn't stop wondering if it was a neighbor knocking at odd hours or maybe someone passing by who mistook their door for another. And sure enough, it appears someone, or something, really was outside. But their intentions, that's something the family still can't explain. The figure didn't call out, didn't move toward the camera, didn't even seem startled when the door cracked open. It was just standing there. And then, something that had never happened before added a whole new layer to the mystery. Inside the house, the chair suddenly began rocking on its own, as if someone had managed to slip inside during the split second the door was opened. People who saw the video can't agree on what's actually happening. A few pointed out that the baby crying every night might not be a coincidence, but the family still has no idea why any of this is happening or what that figure outside wanted, so this one remains a mystery. In this next video, a guy explains that something inside his house has made a habit of staying in one particular spot and moving things around just to get him worked up. At first, he thought it was harmless. Annoying, but harmless. But over time, whatever he was living with stopped staying in that one corner. Watch this.
No sé si alcanzan a oír, por allá se mueve. Es que lo que les digo, cuando le bajo a la música, como que se da cuenta que estoy, no le gusta mi presencia, entonces se queda callado. Pero cuando hago ruido, pues por ahí estaba moviéndose ahorita. Vive allá atrás, weón, no pasa de ahí. Por ahí se siente, pero nada, no he logrado verle.
Before long, he says he could actually feel it. Sometimes it would grip him out of nowhere. Other times, when it touched him, his entire body went weak. And now the activity has gotten so frequent.
Bueno, antes de salir voy a grabar un poquito porque está todavía presente. Lola tiene más miedo que todos. Tú no sirves para nada, perro. Nunca se pierden sus perros. Si es que lo cuidan a uno, mentira. Puta, es que la energía aquí es fuerte y escucha. No he sido capaz de andar. Me da miedo. Hola. Me da miedo pasar de ahí. No soy capaz. Porque escucho, lo escucho ahí. Está en el baño, marica, está ahí. Y es como si... Bueno, eres un demonio, ¿qué mierda eres? Es como si se estuviera burlando de mí. Y vieran, la siento, a veces me toca, viene y me toca, y cada vez que me toca me siento como débil. Mira. Hola. Esa puta. No, marica, me voy para la calle. Tengo mucho miedo. Vamos a subirle la música. Ya me voy, dejémoslo ahí. Uf. Bueno, y acá están en severa misa. Bueno. Lola, ¿qué hacemos? No, marica, me voy a poner esa venda y nos vamos para la calle. Bueno, creo que el ejercicio funciona. Efectivamente, está muy activa. Ya sé que eres una mujer, me lo confirmaste hace un ratico. Quiero saber más. Hola. Uf. No, me voy. Me voy a la calle, tengo miedito. Ahorita hablamos.
He later shared in another video that just a few days after moving into this house, his life took a dark turn. He had several misfortunes back to back: an accident, a broken foot, a damaged car, financial trouble, all piling up until he slipped into depression and isolation. And now he's starting to wonder if that heavy moment in his life somehow fed whatever's lurking in his home. Almost like the worse he felt, the stronger it got. But what do you think? Can spirits really feed off a person's emotional state, or is that all just a myth? Now, in this next clip, a man named Joseph had only been living in his new home for a few weeks when something unusual caught his attention. One morning, while out for a jog, he noticed something moving across the tree line. His first thought was that it had to be an animal, but then it became a pattern. Every time he stepped outside, he'd see a quick shift behind the branches, the kind that makes you feel like you're being watched. Concerned for the safety of his wife and kids, he decided to start building a fence. But before he could even finish it, he finally managed to catch whatever had been creeping around on camera. Watch this.
Look, dude, she couldn't find her way over there, so now she's over here. She's back in here trying to fucking find a way into my property. Do you see her? Look at that face. Oh my god. It's right there staring at me. Dude, how fucking scary is that shit? Oh my god, dude. What the She's crawling through all this shit, bro.
At first, it's completely still, but then, if you look closely, the face moves. And at this point, Joseph doesn't even know what to think anymore. A ghost, a strange neighbor, or something entirely different. But what he caught next is what sent the comments into overdrive. Whoever, or whatever, is out there is still hiding, and this time, a hand was captured reaching out from behind the trees. Some viewers believe it might be a homeless person who needs help, suggesting Joseph leave food or clothing outside just in case. But others think something far more dangerous is lurking out there, something that doesn't want to be seen, yet keeps getting closer each time. Some even pointed out that the way the hand appears doesn't look natural, almost like it's studying him, not seeking help. So, which side are you on? In the following video, Kirby J, a woman who's been convinced for months that she isn't alone in her home, finally caught something on camera that she believes proves it. Have a look.
I have ghosts in my house. All of a sudden I'm sitting here and I hear a child's toy going. I hear a child's toy going off back here. By the way, no child has been here. No. What? I think it's up here. I'm so scared. My mom's grandkids. Don't touch those. Why would the child's toy be going off if no kid has played with them in months? Like, I kid you not, my nieces and nephews have not touched these toys in months, and all of a sudden it starts singing today? No. Oh my god. After I was just on the phone with my friend telling her I had ghosts in my house. Let me show you. My mom bought this Annabelle doll a couple years ago. When we first got her, she was facing forward like this. Every day, she's been slowly turning to look out the window. We think that she's mad because my mom puts stuff on top of her box and she doesn't like it. I should mention, the day after my mom brought this Annabelle doll home, my mom broke her ankle in the room right over there in the corner. And then a couple nights ago, my mom tripped on something in the middle of the night. We don't know what she tripped on and got a concussion in the back of her head. I'm scared.
Till today, neither she nor her family has been able to find the toy responsible for making that sound. And that's what makes this situation even stranger, because every toy they own has been checked, moved, and tested. None of them match the noise heard in the footage. But what really got people talking is the creepy doll. According to Kirby, ever since that doll came into the house, her mom has been getting hurt, and for many viewers, that's not something you can just brush aside. If Kirby's analysis is correct, then the doll may be more than just an object. Some believe items can carry attachments, especially if they were previously owned or stored somewhere with negative energy. Others think the doll could be acting as a conduit, a focus point for whatever's trying to get their attention. But here's the unsettling part. The toy sound, the unexplained injuries, and the timing of the doll's arrival all line up a little too neatly. So if it were you, would you keep the doll in the house? Or do you think Kirby should get rid of it before things escalate even further? Now, this next video was recorded inside a church by a priest who was simply trying to make a short announcement about the upcoming Sunday service. But before he could even get through the first few lines, this happened.
Well, hey everybody, Pastor Aaron here. It's my pleasure just to announce that this Sunday will be open. Okay, we've been trying to do this announcement several times today already, and 3 times that podium back there has fallen over on its own, and it's stable. I mean, it's not wobbly at all. It's kind of like that podium has been wobbling. Okay, so we checked the vent. There's a vent there that is not an air duct that has any forced air at all, so it can't be wobbling from that. There's absolutely no breeze in here. You can see by the banner there. There's no air conditioning. It's these things. They're off. I don't know. So I'm just gonna sit here and watch it for a little bit, and we will. I'll see if it does it again. Ooh, that thing's moving. That hasn't been moving. That's new. Seriously, nothing else. There's no breeze. It's moving again. Good grief.
At first, when the podium fell, people weren't too convinced. Podiums can wobble, floors can shift, and accidents happen, even in a church. But when the flag behind him suddenly started moving in that strange, unnatural way, that's when viewers became uneasy. In a place that's supposed to be peaceful, a place that many consider sacred, that raised a lot of questions. Some believe the church might be dealing with a restless presence, possibly tied to someone who passed away on the grounds or within the congregation. Others think the activity could be connected to something the priest himself mentioned in past sermons: old items stored in the building, renovations that disturb forgotten rooms, or even people bringing in their personal burdens and energies. So, what do you think is going on in this church? A warning? A presence seeking attention? Or is there a perfectly rational explanation hidden behind all this? Now, in this next video, a lady named Carla shares something that's been building for months. According to her, the activity in her home didn't start slowly. It came in waves. Things would fall off shelves at odd hours, objects would appear in strange corners of the house where she never placed them, and more than once she woke up to the sound of something dragging across the floor. At first, she tried to ignore it. She convinced herself she was misplacing things, forgetting things, imagining things. But when she began finding items neatly arranged in places she never touched, shoes lined up by the door, cutlery stacked in the hallway, a jar she kept in the kitchen suddenly sitting in her bathtub, that's when she realized something else might be living with her. One night, while she was preparing to go to bed, this happened.
Voy a ver si está por ahí otra vez. No mames. ¿Qué pedo?
Having to pick items off the floor every single day and deal with things shifting around the house on their own is not something anyone wants to experience. For Carla, it became exhausting and terrifying. And then she revealed something that made everything fall into place for a lot of viewers. Before all of this started, she admitted she once played a Ouija board. And according to her, she was possessed during that session. When you connect all the dots, the strange movements, the misplaced objects, the nightly disturbances, and now this new footage, it starts to look less like a random haunting and more like something tethered specifically to her. But I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. If you've been following this channel for a while, then you already know Kyle Anthony, the man who somehow ended up living in one of the most unpredictable haunted houses online. One quiet evening, he was at home minding his own business when his night was interrupted yet again by what many people call the attention-seeking ghost that lives with him. Watch.
You know what? No.
Clearly, Kyle wasn't in the mood for whatever was trying to get his attention, so he turned around and went right back. But people who watched the clip noticed something he seemed to ignore: the orbs. But if you've ever seen Kyle's basement, then you know he keeps a disturbing collection down there. These images only fueled the speculation that Kyle's house isn't haunted at all. Maybe Kyle's collection is. But the truth is, every new video Kyle uploads opens one mystery after another. And with each unexplained moment, it's becoming harder to tell what exactly he's living with. In the following video, Kyle was filming, talking excitedly about publishing his upcoming horror novel, when something happened that instantly shifted the tone. Watch.
Two agents, they got enough for me. Holy shit. That just opened by itself. Okay. Yo. That just opened. It just opened by itself. We're gonna... And this broke. This broke. Okay, maybe that's for the best. Oh. That scared the shit out of him. I'm gonna have a freaking heart attack. That string broke. Well, that's just fine because I'm never going up there again.
That door leading to the attic? It's the same attic where he's captured strange figures, unexplained bangs, footsteps pacing above his room, and even whispering voices when no one else was home. So when the door creaked open behind him in the middle of his recording, many viewers became convinced it wasn't a coincidence at all, that something up there was inviting him, or trying to get his attention. Others, meanwhile, are eagerly waiting for his book, especially because they know his stories aren't just fiction. A lot of them are based on real events, things he has personally lived through in that house. People are already speculating about which moments he'll write about, and how he managed to cope with everything he's been experiencing. But until Kyle gives an update, or until the release of that book, this remains yet another unsettling moment in a house that refuses to stay quiet. Now, in this next video, a woman named Monica Monch, who works after hours in an office building that's completely empty at night, holidays, and weekends, has been experiencing something she can no longer brush off. One night, while she was doing her usual rounds, this happened.
I'm at work. I'm the only person here. And I'm here. Oh my god, I'm scared. The scary movie says you don't go see what's going on. But what the I'm gonna lose my goddamn shit. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna die.
A voice said, "What are you thinking?" even though she was the only one in the entire building. And then there was the toy she picked up to inspect, thinking maybe it had batteries, but it didn't. It only makes noise if someone physically touches it. Yet in the video, it activates all on its own, as if an invisible hand was playing with it right next to her. This clip has caused a huge debate online. Some people are convinced Monica is dealing with something otherworldly, something intelligent. To them, a voice responding directly to her and a toy working on its own feels far too specific and intentional to dismiss as coincidence. And with the security guards reportedly hearing similar things, many believe whatever's in that office isn't just passing through, it's trying to communicate. But it's hard not to wonder if Monica has become the center of something she was never meant to notice. Until she shares more footage, this case remains a mystery. Now, this next video comes from a woman who recently ended things with her boyfriend, But according to her, the breakup didn't end the story. In fact, she believes it only made things worse. She claims her ex had something dark attached to him, something his family openly acknowledged. And once she heard them speak about it so casually, so normally, that's when she started connecting the dots. All the strange wiring issues in his house, the unexplained noises, the way objects moved on their own. She began to realize these weren't random incidents. They were signs of whatever the family had been living with for years. And then came the night captured in this clip, filmed while she and her ex were separated.
It's just something. What?
This wasn't the first time something happened, and definitely not the worst. She later talked about an incident involving his sister. One morning, the sister woke up to find her puppy dead, and every single plant in her house completely withered overnight. And when she herself was still living with her boyfriend, she experienced nights where the entire atmosphere of the house would change. Sharp cold spots appearing out of nowhere, doors creaking open even after she locked them, and shadows moving in corners where there was nowhere for shadows to be. Some nights, she said, it felt like something was walking from room to room, checking on them. And now that she's out of the relationship, she believes whatever was attached to the family has turned its attention toward her. Many call it a jumper, something that doesn't just haunt a single house or a single person, but moves. It attaches itself to whoever comes close enough, feeding off the conflict, the stress, the emotional chaos, and following them even after they leave. Whether it's because she spent years around it, or because it chose her, she doesn't know. But based on this footage and everything she's described, it seems like whatever was haunting that family isn't quite done with her yet. In this next video, two friends were at home, hanging out and playing games when they started noticing strange things. It started in the hallway, something that made both of them glance up from their game, even though neither wanted to admit they saw it. Moments later, the chair in their room suddenly moved on its own, and that's when it hit them. Whatever they sensed in the hallway, it didn't stay there. People online are divided about what exactly was happening here. Whatever was in that hallway was watching them, reacting to them, and eventually stepping into the room with them. So, was it something intelligent, or something that simply didn't want to stay in the hallway anymore? You decide. The following footage was recorded on the first floor of West Hill Manor in Burlington County, a location already known for its long history of strange encounters. According to the group investigating the home that night, every single person was on the third floor when this happened. No one was downstairs, No one was even close. Watch closely. If you look toward the doorway on the right, you'll see it, a strange mist drifting across the frame. And then, just seconds later, a loud bang was heard from the 3rd floor. This is where things get interesting. It almost looks like the mist moves upward, as though whatever it was slipped out of the 1st floor doorway and traveled straight to where the sound happened. Many viewers immediately connected the two events, suggesting that the mist wasn't random environmental interference at all, but an apparition transitioning between floors. Some believe this might be a spirit that's aware of the investigators and is trying to make its presence known by traveling through the house and manipulating its surroundings. But the biggest question remains, was this mist responsible for the bang, or did it go upstairs because of the bang, as though reacting to something else entirely? Either way, the timing is too close to be ignored. Whatever moved through that doorway wasn't supposed to be there, and it definitely wasn't ordinary. I'd love to know what you think about this one. In this next clip, Ruger's mom was lying in bed when the strangest thing happened, something she genuinely couldn't explain later. Take a look at this, and listen closely.
Okay.
Her mom is clearly reaching out into the darkness, waving as if she's responding to someone standing right beside the bed. And if you listen closely, you'll hear a soft voice whispering, "Mama." According to Ruger, that voice sounds exactly like her sister's voice, the sister who passed away back in 2017. This is where the debate really begins. Some viewers believe this was a moment of comforting visitation, that her late sister might have been reaching out, maybe checking on their mother, and the mother somehow sensed her presence. They point out that the mother's reactions seem gentle, not startled. Others believe this could be something entirely different, something mimicking the sister's voice. Mimics are known for using familiar voices to draw attention or interaction, especially during vulnerable moments like sleep. The way her mom reached out without hesitation makes some people wonder if something wanted her to respond. Then there's the idea of sleep state sensitivity, where people in half-dream, half-awake moments are more open to the supernatural. Some say her mom could have been in a liminal state, aware enough to react, but relaxed enough to perceive things most people wouldn't. But I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. Now, in this next video, the popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his deep dive into one of Nebraska's most notoriously haunted locations, the Argo Hotel. And this time, the moment he stepped into one particular room, something sent him running. This wasn't just any room, it's the one rumored to be haunted by the spirit of a woman guests claim likes to brush against people while they sleep, almost as if she's checking whether they're awake, or if they're alone. Even Ian, who has seen more than most of us ever will, couldn't stand the room, but after catching his breath, he went back in.
There is proof that this hotel is ridiculously haunted. Alright, I should at least shut it off, shouldn't I? Don't want to waste the water. Oh god, okay. Don't mind me. Coming in. The freaking beat scared me. I'm sorry, bud. I'm gonna have to cut you off here. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? I am speechless. I don't even know what to say. Other than, I'm leaving a freaking camera in here. And I'm getting out of Dodge. That's all I know. Thank you. Alright, so I've got a spirit box here. I'm gonna walk around this whole entire floor and see if I can get any responses.
He spoke calmly, trying to communicate, trying to see if whatever was there would respond. A few moments later, he suddenly began hearing something.
Whoever's responsible for the phantom music in here, I'd love to hear some more of it. Could you place them in this room? Why is that spinning? Wait a minute, that thing wasn't even on. Why is it spinning? What the heck? Dude, this thing is freaking spinning on its own. And you can tell it's not even on because look at it, it's slowing down. Oh, what the heck? That is so freaking bizarre. And now look. It completely stopped. How do you explain that? Like, legit, like what just happened? If this fan was on, it would literally be spinning continuously. And if you look, let's see, are the switches on? Nope, they're both down. So what the heck just happened there? Oh, Jesus Christ. What the hell was that? Dude, this room is crazy active. Those other rooms were completely silent, but this room, not this room. What the heck was that?
Every minute he spends inside this hotel keeps pointing to the same conclusion. This place isn't just haunted, it's active, and whatever's in that room seems more than willing to let him know he isn't alone. For more haunting videos, including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. In the following clip, a couple begins to notice strange, unexplained movements inside their home. It starts subtly, items not being where they were left, an uneasy feeling when certain rooms go quiet, and moments where it feels like someone else is present even when they're alone. One evening, one of them notices something she's absolutely certain about. The blinds in one room are open, even though she clearly remembers closing them. She shuts them again and leaves the room. Minutes later, she returns, and the blinds are open, so this time, instead of brushing it off, she stays, pulls out her phone, and starts recording to see what's causing it. Watch closely.
Me, or is that an opening? Let me pause this shit, cuz. Is it me? Oh my god, baby. Baby. Is it me or they fucking opening?
After the video was shared, explanations quickly followed. Some suggested the blinds might be loose or no longer tight enough, slowly slipping down on their own. Others speculated that someone could be standing outside the window. But when she stepped outside to check for footprints or signs of anyone nearby, there were none. No marks, no disturbance, nothing that could explain it. What makes this harder for the couple to dismiss is that this isn't the only strange thing they've experienced. They've openly said they believe they're gifted with sight, able to sense and see spirits, and because of past experiences, they're already open to the idea that the paranormal is very real. They've encountered unusual things outside their home as well, events that reinforce that belief. One moment that stands out happened when they took their nephew Nick to the park shortly after he lost his best friend. While spending time there, something unexpected was captured. Watch and listen closely.
This is a video of our nephew at the park, and his best friend had recently died. Let us know what you hear.
Ow, my head! My head got hurt twice!
Some people hear a voice saying, "Nick, I love you." Others believe it says, "I can help you." Was this a comforting message meant only for him, or something else entirely trying to make contact? Let me know what you heard. Now, in this next clip, a man is trying to get to the root of why his younger daughter is terrified of a particular toy. Every time she sees it, she cries. When it's brought closer, she screams and tries to get away, refusing to stay in the same room with it. She won't touch it, won't look at it for long, and becomes visibly distressed whenever it's nearby. Behavior that her parents say doesn't happen with any of her other toys. One evening, hoping to understand what was triggering such a strong reaction, the father brings the toy out again with the help of his older daughter. As they interact with it, he suddenly notices something unsettling. Watch.
Okay, pull the string.
Okay.
Let it go slow. Alright, now do it regular. Alright, I'll do it again, but a little slower.
Before jumping to conclusions, it's important to know what this toy actually is. Viewers quickly pointed out that it's a 1985 Secret Care Bear, one of the early talking toys. Unlike modern toys that use digital electronics, these older models relied on sound cylinders. The slower the pull string retracts, the slower the cylinder turns, which can cause the voice to stretch, warp, and distort, similar to forcing a vinyl record to slow down mid-play. Back in the day, many parents complained that these toys sounded disturbing, even describing the voices as demonic, but that's not where the concern ends. Some people took things much further, pointing to the symbols on the Care Bears' bellies, known as belly badges. According to proponents, these symbols resemble veves, religious markings used in voodoo practices believed to act as spiritual beacons or invitations for specific entities. While others dismiss this as coincidence or overinterpretation, those who believe in spiritual sensitivity argue that children are often more perceptive to energies adults ignore. So if this little girl reacts so strongly to this specific toy, could it really be just the distorted voice? Or is she sensing something else entirely? I'd leave you to be the judge of this one. In the following clip, a woman was just about to take a shower when her friend FaceTimed her. During the call, the friend jokingly teased her about the way she had wrapped her hair before hanging up. Laughing it off, she decided to rewrap it properly and record a short video to send back as proof she could do it better this time. But while she was recording, something completely unexpected happened. Watch closely. From her reaction alone, you can tell how deeply it shook her. And honestly, it's hard to blame her. She had already heard unsettling stories from neighbors in the building, reports of curtains moving on their own, unexplained knocking late at night, and even whispers coming from empty rooms. So when her own curtains suddenly began moving violently, not swaying gently, but tugged as if someone was deliberately pulling it, panic took over, and in that moment, running was the only thing she could think to do. But if whatever caused that movement had actually shifted into her apartment, many argue that running alone wouldn't solve anything. But is there a chance this is a one-time incident? Or should she start taking it seriously? Now, in this next video, a family had just moved into a home tucked deep in the Smoky Mountains, not far from the Appalachian Range. And according to them, it's been one disturbing incident after another since the day they arrived. At first, it was little things they tried to brush off. Strange noises at night, an uneasy feeling when the sun went down, and the sense that the woods surrounding their property were never truly quiet. But one night, the husband and son went outside to bring one of their chickens back into the coop when something suddenly charged at them from the darkness. Watch closely.
So, after it was moving really fast.
Yeah.
Really faster than deer.
Towards us. Yeah. From the same fucking place. The same place.
So I shot.
Lights to the right.
I shot a couple of times.
Right. Fired off around.
Well, I've shot. I think I may have even hit it.
Right there, left. I just saw eyes right there.
Yeah, we've been seeing eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Over there.
I'm going inside and I'm telling them what happened.
Telling you what happened.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. That's
this is insane.
Clearly something.
This is insane. Okay, my phone died. It literally went from 60 to 1 and then it died, okay? So we're sitting here, we realize what's going on. I say it's the chairs being dragged across the concrete, okay? Then all of a sudden we hear tapping. The door is on the other side of this, right through those doors right there. The tapping was through there. That's where the hot tub is, on that side. And right along that side of the property line right there is where it was last night, okay? Then, right after 4 taps on that glass, something tried to put in a code on my front door. And it was wrong, and it went da-na-na-na, and then it left, and it was complete silence. My 2 oldest boys were at the gym. My other son, who is 16, and my husband, who protects our home mostly, okay, were gone. This thing waited until the protectors of our home were gone to intimidate us. And not 1, but 2 this time. I immediately went. I got my AR. I slammed in the clip. I flipped that motherfucker to fire, and I chambered that bitch.
Only people that were in the home were women, children, and the elderly.
I went and checked all the doors. I locked 2 doors that were unlocked. Only one of those doors had somebody been out of today. The other one has not been touched. It never is used. Nobody ever uses that entrance. I went and opened my grandpa's door. I checked on him. He said he'd been in there the whole time. I said, Grandpa, something's trying to get in the house. Do not come out. We're sweeping the house with guns. Stay in this room. Call me if you need me.
Once the video circulated, people familiar with Appalachian folklore began chiming in. Many claimed this sounded eerily similar to encounters they'd had themselves. Some suggested a rake. Others went even further, saying the behavior matched stories tied to Wendigos or skinwalkers, entities long associated with remote wooded areas and mountain regions like this. Advice poured in quickly. Viewers urged them to place iron spikes at all 4 corners of their property line. Others recommended walking the perimeter with salt as a protective barrier. A lot of people warned them to stop staring into the tree line at night, claiming that acknowledging whatever is out there can invite more activity. But just a few days later, something else happened. She went into the kitchen to grab something and noticed something completely out of place. Watch.
I never used to leave my front porch lights on. What the is that? Hey yo, what the is that? Oh. No.
After this second clip, interest in her story exploded, and that's when she shared something deeply personal. According to her, she's had a paranormal attachment since she was a toddler. She claims it eventually left after she rededicated her life to Christ, but she also admits that strange experiences have followed her family over the years, And now, since moving to this area, whatever it is feels stronger, more aggressive, and far more frequent. So the question remains, is this activity tied to the land, the deep woods and ancient energy of the Appalachian Mountains? Or is something from her past finding its way back to her now? Let me know what you think. This next video was captured on Christmas Day, a time most people associate with peace, family, and quiet moments at home. But for this family, whatever has been haunting their house didn't take a break for the holidays. They had already been dealing with unexplained activity for weeks. Still, they hoped Christmas would at least bring some calm. Well, it didn't. Take a look. At the very beginning, a voice can be heard clearly saying Eva, followed shortly after by Simon, the exact names of people living inside the house. That detail alone is what made this clip especially disturbing. Many believe that when a spirit uses someone's real name, it's not random. In some belief systems, speaking a person's name is thought to establish a stronger connection, almost like marking them. And then there are those who warn that this kind of behavior signals escalation, a sign that the activity is moving beyond noises and into direct interaction. Skeptics tried to make their points, but for the family, hearing their names spoken inside their own home on Christmas Day of all days didn't feel like coincidence. So what do you think this was? A spirit trying to communicate, or something darker attempting to latch on? Now, this next clip was also recorded on Christmas Day, and interestingly, many people believe this is a time when houses can become more active, not less. Across different cultures and belief systems, Christmas is often described as a kind of thin moment, where emotions run high, memories are stirred, and homes are filled with energy tied to family, loss, and tradition. Paranormal enthusiasts often claim that spirits are more active during holidays because of this emotional intensity. There are countless reports tied specifically to Christmas: footsteps heard while everyone is asleep, ornaments moving on their own, voices captured on recordings during gift opening, and even children claiming to see unfamiliar figures standing near trees or doorways. And for the lady in this video, Christmas Day was no exception. Watch this.
Me encanta porque se me abrió la puerta del ropero sola. No, pero escúchame una cosa. Nos quedamos donde estamos acá, no saludamos a nadie. Chao. Buenas noches, nos vamos todos a dormir.
After this clip was shared, the comments section quickly filled up as viewers began sharing their own Christmas-related experiences. So now it's your turn. Have you ever experienced something strange on Christmas Day or during the holidays? Or was it just a coincidence? Now, this next clip was captured by a family we've featured on this channel before. A family whose house situation has been one of the hardest for viewers to make sense of. On the very first day of the year, while most people were sleeping peacefully or welcoming a fresh start, this family barely managed an hour of rest. Watch.
espérate para allá, ya tranquilo, papá, ya. Ya, espérame.
Ya. Tranquilos. Tranquilos, no pasa nada, no pasa nada, tranquilos.
Espérame, voy a ver allá abajo, no hay nada acá.
At first glance, it might be easy for some to dismiss this as staged, but the reactions of the children tell a very different story. This is pure fear, the kind of fear that comes from living with something you don't understand and can't escape from. Many viewers keep repeating the same advice, just move. But how easy is that really? When funds are limited, when the housing market is tight, and when every affordable option feels out of reach, leaving isn't as simple as packing bags and walking away. The family says they've tried everything they know, so this is one mystery that refuses to let go. The following video was recorded by Francisco, a man who works at the Gallup Indian Medical Center, a place known for late-night emergencies, long quiet hallways, and the kind of unexplained noises staff usually try not to think too much about. Things fall on their own sometimes. Doors close when no one's around, and workers have shared stories of hearing footsteps long after the wards are empty. And on this particular evening, Francisco had his own experience. He was the only person left at work around 5 p.m. when he started hearing things.
And I'm just recording because I don't know who it could be or anyone's here. It's just me here. It's like 5 o'clock. And nobody's here, and I'm the only one here ready to leave. Hello? 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 It's crazy because there's nobody here. Hello? 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 Where is it coming from? There's nobody. I don't know where that noise is coming from. Hello? Anybody here?
He kept walking from one section of the office to another, checking every corner, every hallway, but there was nothing. Yet the knocking continued, clear, deliberate, and according to some beliefs, when a knock happens 3 times, it's not always a person. Some say it's a way for a spirit to mimic human behavior. Others believe it's a warning or a way to get someone's attention. Unsettled and unable to shake the experience, Francisco went straight to the security unit to explain what had happened. But when they pulled up the feed, no one was there. Just Francisco, and whoever or whatever wanted him to know he wasn't alone. Now Francisco is left with one question. If this happens again, what's he supposed to do? Ignore it, confront it, or leave it completely alone? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. This next clip was captured around 3 a.m. by a family you might remember from a previous video on this channel, but let me give you a quick rundown so you're not lost. It all started on random nights when their daughter would suddenly wake up crying, and while they were trying to calm her down, they'd hear someone knocking on their front door. At first it seemed harmless, maybe a confused neighbor, maybe someone who had the wrong apartment, the kind of thing you brush off because you don't want to assume the worst. But it kept happening, night after night. Same soft knocking, same timing. and eventually curiosity got the best of them. One night, the father finally decided to check, and when he opened the door, there was a figure standing right outside. People who watched that first clip said the family made a huge mistake opening the door at that hour, because whatever that figure was, it's like something shifted after that moment. The knocking stopped, but other things started happening. Watch this.
Se están escuchando ruidos en la parte de abajo de la casa. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. ¿Ya vieron el sillón?
Hice mi primer dieta a los 9 años. They all love me, but they want me to lose weight. Tienen como una propia cárcel. Tu taza cuando sacan todo. ¿Qué quieres? ¿Te animas a repetirte?
Desvestida, la moda pasó de moda. Todos los domingos, 10 de la
Se estaba moviendo, lo juro por Dios.
por Star Channel.
Cada vez se empeora más esto. ¿Quién anda ahí? Buenas. Estoy bastante preocupado, se escucha ahora ruidos allá arriba. Sea lo que seas, no perteneces aquí. No sé qué quieras. Vete de aquí, por favor. ¿Quién diablos prendió la televisión? Esta tele también.
Now the TV turns on by itself at night, and the rocking chair in the living room moves on its own. Slow, steady, like someone invisible has settled into it and is gently rocking back and forth. Viewers believe whatever had been knocking might have slipped inside when the door opened, almost as if the opening itself acted like an invitation. Others think the presence had been waiting for acknowledgement, and that moment at the door was the confirmation it needed. And with the rocking, the electronics flickering and powering on, and the strange, heavy silence where the knocking used to be, a lot of people feel this might only be the beginning of something more intense in that house. But what do you think is happening here? And what exactly can a family do in a situation like this? They might just be reading the comments looking for answers. The following clip has sparked a debate among believers and skeptics, and it all centers on a woman named Sydney and her sister Gretchen, Gretch as she calls her, who rented an Airbnb for a wedding they had that weekend. Only a few minutes after settling in, Sydney stepped out to walk the dog, but when she came back inside, this is what she met.
Jesus Christ.
Great.
Touch it.
Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God, what is that?
The curtain, the balloon, and the dog's leash that suddenly flung into the air on the staircase like someone yanked it upward. Skeptics immediately jumped in, insisting it was just the wind, or maybe the house settling, but others pushed back, pointing out how each object moved, almost as if something was interacting with them. Sydney and Gretch couldn't shake the feeling that something about this place was off, but it was only their first hour in the house, and leaving right away felt like they'd be overreacting. And besides, the dog seemed calm, which most people agreed was a sign there was nothing to worry about, but soon that would change.
Okay, so this is the leash. If this moves, I'm literally going to run. There she goes again. I don't think the leash is gonna move, but she's definitely sensing something. Every single day.
With the way the dog was reacting, there's definitely something on those stairs. It wasn't the curious kind of sniffing dogs do when they pick up a new scent. This was cautious, stiff, almost like he was bracing for whatever he sensed up there. And to make matters worse, one viewer commented that she actually recognized the Airbnb because of the carpet pattern, and claimed someone had died on those exact steps. Some believe that kind of energy can linger, attaching itself to the place and replaying moments of fear. Others think trauma can open a doorway, like the house becomes a magnet for things that don't belong in this world anymore. Sydney, determined to make sense of what was going on, began quietly looking around the house, checking corners and details she'd ignored when they first arrived. That's when she discovered something that might be the missing piece to their puzzle. Watch this.
Okay, so I think I figured out why my dog just is always hanging out right here. So I just found a door back here. So I don't think that it's what's on the stairs. I think it's something that's underneath. So I tried to check, but the door is locked. Obviously it's an Airbnb, so they lock a lot of the doors up, but so yeah, I don't think that it's what's on the stairs, like what I initially thought. I think it's what's below. I want to find out at this point.
Now that they'd found a locked basement under the stairs, things finally began to add up. Sydney couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was happening on those steps, whatever her dog kept sensing and pacing around, was connected to whatever was sealed behind that door. It was almost like the dog was reacting to something moving underneath them, something it could feel but they couldn't. Curious and honestly a little desperate for answers, Sydney slid her phone under the door to see what might be inside. Watch this.
So this is the switch. You guys can see the light is on right there. I wonder if it's...
Just maybe there's someone right behind the door. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god, did that just happen?
The doorknob suddenly moved, like someone was trying to open it from the inside. At that point, the ladies were terrified, their thoughts going in every direction. At first, they tried to think logically. They even wondered if someone might actually be living down there because they'd experienced something similar at another Airbnb where the host was secretly double renting rooms. But when they checked the house again and found no one there, that theory fell apart, leaving them with something much more unsettling. After taking a moment to breathe and think through what just happened, the sisters decided to try again, this time hoping to catch whatever was turning the doorknob. But something even more terrifying happened. Have a look.
Scary. Okay. Okay, every time we've knocked before, this doorknob would turn a little bit.
Something yanked the phone straight out of Sydney's hand from the basement, and when the phone landed down there was no visible person in sight. Yet the phone kept moving, almost like it was being dragged or nudged by something just out of frame. Viewers started speculating immediately. Some thought someone was hiding in the shadows, others swore it looked like the phone was being pulled by an invisible force, the way objects shift during severe residual hauntings. They called the host, who eventually came over to unlock the basement so Sydney could retrieve her phone. But when he arrived, Sydney and her sister noticed something they couldn't ignore. Watch.
But there's no reason for me to go that way. But I'm waiting to start hearing things from coming underneath my house. That's it. I'm out of here.
The door.
Okay, well.
Door too. It's creepy.
Thank you.
The host had a tattoo of nested triangles on his right palm, and several viewers said they would bet anything that he knew more about that room than he was letting on. The symbol itself sent the comment section spiraling. Many viewers immediately recognized the symbol, saying it's associated with occult practices, protection marks, or rituals involving gateways or sealed rooms. The fact that this symbol was on his hand and the basement was locked under the stairs sent people into a frenzy. A few even suggested the tattoo might mean he tried sealing something in that basement, and that whatever it was might not be fully contained anymore. The situation worried a lot of people. Viewers kept asking for details, urging the sisters to leave the Airbnb immediately. Some even insisted they could get a refund if the host failed to disclose that someone else might also be renting the space. Eventually, Sydney responded with this update.
Okay, so I sent the video to the landlord of the Airbnb, and hold on, let me turn on the light. Okay, I sent the video to the landlord of the Airbnb asking, like, hey, is there someone else renting it out as well as us or what? Because there's a room under the stairs that we can't get into. It's locked, so I didn't know. And basically he was like, no, you guys are the only ones that are in the Airbnb right now, like booked out for the week. So okay, kind of feel relieved in a way, because I think it would be really weird and kind of creepy if there were people staying there as well that we didn't know about. But yeah, he didn't seem worried at all about it, so we'll see.
Now, Sydney is convinced they aren't dealing with a simple rental mishap. With the unexplained movement, the dog's behavior, the locked basement, the shaking doorknob, the phone being pulled, and the host's unsettling tattoo, it's getting harder and harder to deny that something else might be in that house. So what was in the basement? A spirit trying to get out? or something trying very hard to keep others from getting in? You decide.